Yeah, so Sample Cell, I mean, the way the album started, I like to tell people that it's the Christopher Nolan reboot of Riot in Paris. I feel like even though it's only our second album, this is a lot of people's first look at the band. And so I know, like, when I get into a new band, I want to go back and find out all this about them, where did they come from, go back to their first records and whatnot. So for me, I feel like this is like the Spark Note crash course of Riot in Paris, because I think it shows where we started from, and it also shows where we're heading. Our sound first started when I think it started when we started producing tracks where we would mix these hip hop lyrics and verses with these alternative rock songs that I would sample from like some of my favorite bands. Like we sampled a Cold War Kids song and Passing the Hat, and did a song of ours called Can't Go Back, which was like one of our first breakout ones. We sampled tracks from the Arctic Monkeys, just bands that we thought was dope and we thought made dope beats. We would like flip those and rap over it. But then as time went along, and once we got better as songwriters, and once I got better as a producer and a guitar player, it came to the point where it was like, you know what? That's dope, but I can make something just as cool as that. So at that point it was like, we didn't feel, not that we ever felt there was a need to sample, but we felt like going the route of just making original music without sampling was the way we wanted to go. And I always say that the difference between that is the sampling is being creative, and doing a song from scratch is creation. So I feel like this album shows you creativity and creation. And there's nothing wrong with sampling, you know what I mean? It's a part of hip hop culture, and we definitely grew up in the hip hop culture. So, you know, it's a major part of hip hop culture. And I think that, yeah, Riot in Paris is about mixing that rock and mixing that hip hop. And I feel like sampling is an ode and a nod to the hip hop culture, but then the rock and roll guitar part of us is definitely an ode to rock music. And the songs that we sample are an ode to the bands that I like, and the bands that we like, and the bands that got me into rock music in the first place. So yeah, the reason we call it Sample Cell is because we're saying goodbye to the sampling stage of our music making. And yeah, so you know, this album is about showing people where Riot in Paris came from and where it's going, and that's how we came up with the title Sample Cell. Also, I mean, not to mention we're also fashion fans too, so it's like a double nod to the style and our evolution to that style, and also to our interest in fashion. And they got 9 tracks on there. Tell them where this man came up with the idea for that.
Oh, sample, so yeah, because 9 is like the, you know, sample size in like sneakers. So it's like, hey, 9 is the sample size, so we should have 9 tracks. And so, you know, something so simple as that, and that's where we came up with how many songs. We want to keep it really short. You know, sample sales don't last long anyway, so you gotta get it while it's hot, and we only, you know, give you a limited quantity.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I'm super proud of this album because I feel like we take super ownership in it. No outside producers on the record. Nobody else came and helped us with it. It was just us. We just got together and knocked it out ourselves. So I take super ownership in it, but I also think that it's the best record we've done, and probably the best record. It's gonna be the best record that a lot of people are gonna hear from I guess you want to say underground artists, underground band or artists. So, you know, I'm super excited about it. I think it's our best work yet, and I think it's a great indicator of what the future is going to be for us musically and our next projects that we put out. The way we started working on it was, I think I actually started working on a lot of other tracks right after we came from our first tour of Europe. And I didn't know what I was going to do with them yet, so I didn't really play them for anybody yet. And then once I started fine-tuning them and we realized it was time to release more music, I started sending them over to him, and they just started coming together crazy. And we were actually going to do 2 separate projects. We were going to do a whole mixtape completely
Of samples, yeah.
Yeah, themed of samples and tracks that we like, just rock songs that we liked, and other genres of music that we wanted to flip and take and reimagine Riot in Paris style. And then we're going to do another record that was just 100% original stuff. But we decided that we wanted to put everything together because the songs just came out so dope, and we decided we want to put everything together and put it all in one record and give people, like I said, a crash course on how the band came about. So that's where the whole idea came of putting Sample Cell out as one whole collective.
Oh yeah, we made a gang of songs first off to make this because we're always working on songs and may have ideas or so we have a ton of songs. It was hard selecting songs to narrow it down to these 9 songs, so we wanted a select number. And we even we had to preview the album to a lot of our fans. Shouts out to all our fans on Facebook and Twitter to help us pick the songs, because it was just so hard for us to pick songs. We had a lot of favorites and we wanted to give the fans everything, but at the same time we didn't. So it was a battle we was going through every other night. We were sending lists back and forth to each other of track listings, what we gonna pick, and it was just like every other night. It was like new. We was giving each other like new track listings. So it was pretty difficult because the music, man, is just something that we really put our foots into. So it was kind of hard just picking it on that end. And we luckily got some great fans that helped us out with the process. We all about the people. So.
Yeah, we pretty much picked a couple of fans and had them vote on there. I think we did almost 20 tracks for the album. And like I said, we put so much into it ourselves, we had to take one part and just release it to the people and put it in the people's hands. So we just let a bunch of fans vote on our favorite tracks on the album for about a week. And then at the end of the week, we just tallied it up and we just left it in their hands. We're like, whatever these people respond to is what the rest of the world's gonna get. And so we took the top 9 voted songs and we put them on the album. And yeah, that's how we came up with it. That's how we came up with the track listing for it. And yeah, it's half of the songs are flipped tracks that we kind of sampled, and the other ones are totally original Ride in Paris things. The funniest thing about it is that although we call it sample sale, there actually aren't many samples on the album. The few songs that we did flip or do over Ride in Paris style, samples. I actually just relearned how to play these songs myself, and then when I went in and produced them, I just reimagined them myself. So I think out of all of the songs that we're calling samples, only 2 of them actually have real samples in it, and that's At Heart and this other song called Everybody's Got a Price. But yeah, everything else is straight up all original. I grabbed the guitar, the bass, and my machine, and just played everything myself over again. And it was cool because it helped me grow as a guitar player. And I think with the evolution of our sound, I think we get better as we get better as musicians. And I feel like me getting better as a guitar player is what made the production and what made the song quality on this album what it was, because a lot of the songs started with me just noodling at the guitar at night, or even just learning how to play certain songs. And that I think helped the evolution of the production on the album. And yeah, so even though it's called sample sale, it's not really sampled too much. So
I feel like, well, it's so cliche to say it's more like us, it sounds like us, but it does. I mean, this album is more, we lean more to the alternative side with the song, even the songwriting, and the selection of samples, and it's just the topics and just the song structure and everything. We took it a step further, but it's also in thing with who we are and how we've grown as artists and as individuals. And you can hear the growth, you can see the growth. Pete is a producer, guitar player, and my growth is rapper and songwriting. So it's just a progression from Weekend at Kenny's to Sample Sale. Like, we see it in ourselves, and it's kind of dope to sit back and hear it.
Yeah, I definitely think, like, verse wise, I think these are like, rapping wise, he's always been nasty. I think these are the catchiest verses he's written. Like, freaking earworms. Like, there's a lot of like earworms in there, like stuff you just find yourself singing over and over again. But yeah, I just think all around it's like, this is like our growth, and it's growth along with growth, because the record took about a year to make. We were working on it for about a year along the time that we decided to start working on it after our last album came out. And yeah, like you said, I think it's us. Nobody else is handing in it. It's us in a nutshell, and I think it's our best work. I think it smashes our last record. I feel like when people listen to this, they're not gonna be able to go back and listen to Weekend at Kenny's. Like, sometimes you get artists who just make albums like that, where it's like it's just so good that you just can't go back and listen to the one that they made before that. And I think this is one of those ones where you're like, damn. Like, I loved Weekend at Kenny's, but this right here, this is it. So I think it's our best work. I think it's the best work of a lot of people coming out of New York. I think we holding the crown with this one. We holding the crown with this one.